Former Zambian President Kenneth Kaunda may have been a liberation hero, but after his presidency, many citizens were robbed of their freedoms. A new report by Amnesty International looks at the crackdown over the past 5 years. The report comes ahead of the general election set down for August. Vongai Chikwanda from Amnesty International, Southern Africa, joins me from Johannesburg now for more on this. Very good evening to you. Wow, what a disturbing read, your report on the killings and brutal crackdowns against dissent. Tell us what you are seeing there.
Good evening, Jane. So for many years, Zambia has been a haven of peace, but in recent times what we've been seeing are disturbing signs that show that things are actually changing for the worst. So when the late President Michael Sata became president, he had a commitment to uphold human rights from his party. But over the past 5 years, we've seen that criticism against government leaders or government decisions is frowned upon by those in authority. And in our report that we launched, we have seen a brazen attack on human rights, 4 particular human rights that have been violated by the state, which is the right to freedom of expression, the right to freedom of assembly, the right to the right to freedom of association, and the right to life, where we've seen unlawful killings.
And I should imagine you've had conversation with government there. I mean, what is behind it, do you think? Why this stifling of these freedoms? So, you know, the state has literally cracked down because they do not want people to speak out against injustices or against, the decisions that are being made by the state. So I'll give an example that in 2019, a leader of an opposition party called Sean Tembo was arrested for simply questioning the decision by the state to purchase a presidential jet at a time when the country was failing to even meet its own fiscal obligations. Another leader of the opposition called Xavier Chishimba was arrested and charged with, defamation for questioning why the president had invoked emergency powers. What he was literally saying was that it was not necessary for the president to be invoking emergency powers because they would infringe on rights. And he literally asked the president to revise that, but he was arrested for questioning, such emergency powers. So what we are seeing is any form of expression is being frowned on by the state, and any form of dissent, whether somebody goes on Facebook to express themselves, they can be arrested. So in 2017, a medical doctor was actually imprisoned for allegedly defaming the president. So we are seeing the state using a wide range of offences to punish any form of dissent. And last year in February 2020. So it seems that it doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, I don't know if you were getting onto this now in 2020. A 15-year-old boy was charged because he allegedly criticised the president.
Yes, so you can see that by the arrest of a 15-year-old boy that the state is literally trying to stifle any form of expression, any form of speaking out against injustice by people in Zambia. So the 15-year-old boy, who is a minor, was arrested and charged for allegedly opening or criticizing the president on Facebook.
And tell us about the excessive, and I'm quoting you here, the excessive use of force by the police.
Mm-hmm. So as a result of this crackdown, the crackdown against freedom of expression, we are seeing that it's resulting in the excessive use of force by the police. So when people try to assemble, to speak out against these injustices or to protest, the police have responded with excessive use of force. We have seen the death of a number of people. Amnesty International has documented at least 5 to 6 cases. We will start with in 2016, when a member of the opposition, UPND, was killed by the police, live ammunition, and she died. Her name was Mapenzi Chiburu. And we have also seen the use of tear gas against student protesters at universities. And again, a young woman, Vespers Shimojila, had tear gas thrown into her room and she suffocated. Oof. But again, you are likely to die of a stray bullet in Zambia, because a 14-year-old boy was struck by a stray bullet coming from school when police were trying to disperse protesters.
Yeah, we had something similar happening here as well. And you also talk about the levels of impunity, nobody goes to jail, the fact that you have evidence that senior government officials are fueling this violence. I mean, that's incredibly disturbing, isn't it?
Yes. So when we look at even the crackdown on media freedoms, we have evidence that ruling party cadres have gone in to disrupt radio programs, for hosting people that are perceived to be from opposition. And in some cases, these ruling party cadres have destroyed property. And, they've not been held to account. And even in the case of the killings that happened in December 2020, where a member of an opposition was killed, and a state prosecutor who had just crossed the road to purchase his lunch was also killed by live ammunition. We have seen that the investigations by the Commission have also implicated police officers, but nothing has happened. They've not been brought to book, including in the case of the 14-year-old boy who I'm speaking about, who was struck by a stray bullet. The police officer who are responsible have not been brought to book. So we as Amnesty, we continue to call for independent investigations. The Zambian government must actually investigate these cases, conduct independent and impartial investigations into these cases, and bring those who are responsible to justice.
Yeah. Okay, Vongai, let's leave it there. I mean, really disturbing changes within the last 5 years.